In my last supplies video, I went over supplies that I use in my videos. Now I'm gonna go over the ones I use for my longer drawings that are meant to be hung at a gallery or someone's home. I commonly use charcoal and newsprint paper when sketching and demonstrating. Newsprint is very cheap and an enjoyable surface to draw on because of how cleanly it takes the charcoal. However, newsprint is not archival. It will yellow and wrinkle over time. So if you're doing a longer drawing you want to preserve, it's not a good option. So let's go over some archival options. Graphite. So the first option I'm going to go over is using graphite pencils instead of charcoal. Graphite pencils are great. They get you almost a full range of values. You get a bunch of them with varying degrees of hardness. They allow for very precise detail drawing, and they don't smudge much. Most of us have been using graphite pencils since first grade. It's your everyday number 2 pencil, so we're comfortable using it. Graphite works best when using only the tip of a finely sharpened pencil. Since you're always using the tip, the drawing ends up being very detailed. The medium wants to be precise, but it also takes a much longer time to shade. Though you can just use an old number 2 pencil to do a drawing, I recommend getting some professional grade tools. When I made the switch, I noticed a significant improvement in my line quality and precision. My favorites are the Staedtler, the Staedtler brand. Individual wooden pencils are good, but I like the mechanical even more. I like that it's slightly heavier, and the sharpener that you get for it gets the tip very sharp. And mechanical pencils stay the same length no matter how many times you sharpen them, so you don't have to deal with tiny little pencils. With wooden pencils, you have to rely on access to an electric sharpener wherever you go, or carry one of those crappy portable ones. The sharpener for the Staedtler mechanical pencil is portable, and it works beautifully. The whole pencil setup will cost you a bit, but it's worth it. Let's go through each item. You'll need a Staedtler Mars Technico lead holder. Now, this doesn't hold your regular 0.5 and 0.7 millimeter lead. Oh no, you're working with the big boys now. This guy holds 2 millimeter lead. Bam! I get the HB, 2B, and 4B packs. I use the HB for the initial lay-in and light halftone shading, the 2B for darker halftones and some shadows, and the 4B for the darker shadows. You're gonna need a sharpener. They call it a lead pointer. Pull out about 1.5 centimeters of the lead, put it in the hole, and spin. Just be careful not to get too wild with the sharpener, because you can break the tip. For the paper, I like to use the Strathmore 400 or 500 series Bristol board. I prefer the smoothest surface possible, so I look for the words smooth, plate, or hot press. They all basically mean smooth. To erase, I like a kneaded eraser, or as the British call them, rubbers. I like them because I can shape them to erase large areas or small details. They also don't poop crumbs all over the paper like some others do. And when they get dirty, just knead them to clean them up. Optionally, you can add a layer of charcoal powder under the graphite pencil. Though I do use it for most of my longer drawings, like this one, you could manage without it, like this. The powder is applied with a brush, which I'll show in the shading video. This allows you to create very soft gradations, which are hard to do with a pencil. And it allows you to quickly cover large areas of dark, which is tedious to do with the pencil. When you use the powder, you blend a lot of your shapes together, which can reveal a lot of lost edges. And lost edges look totally awesome in a drawing. I use the same approach in my upcoming video on shading. Look out for that. You'll also see me using a scrap paper or a bridge to rest my hand on. If you're like me, by the time you're done with the drawing, the bottom of your hand is completely covered in charcoal. Use the scrap paper to keep your hand and your drawing clean. And once you're done with the drawing, you can spray it with Fixative to prevent any smudging. If you use charcoal powder, I highly recommend that you fix it. After you spray the drawing, you can draw on top of it, but you can't erase what you sprayed. One thing many people dislike about graphite is the shine. When you go dark with graphite, it starts to become reflective. If this glossiness bothers you, then consider using charcoal pencils instead. Charcoal pencils. So a lot of the materials for my charcoal drawings are the same as my graphite drawings. We still have the kneaded eraser, powder, brushes, scrap paper or bridge, and the spray fixative. The only two differences are the pencils, obviously. They're charcoal instead of graphite. And the paper. You can use the same paper for both, but these are just my preferences. The pencil I use is a Conte 1710 HB, B, or 2B. I like to use the HB or B for lay-ins and shading the light halftones, and the 2B for shading the shadows. If you're wondering how to sharpen it like that, check out this video. I've been looking for a paper that takes the charcoal pencil cleanly without much texture breaking up the strokes, especially when using the side of the pencil to get soft gradations of tone. Most of them just don't do it for me. Arch's 88 silk screen paper is the best I've found. It has very little texture, it's soft, and it doesn't fall apart much when erasing. If you're used to drawing on newsprint, this is a good archival alternative. Where do you get this stuff? In the description, I have the full list of all these supplies, with links to where you can buy them online. Depending on where you live, you might be able to find these at your local art store, but I don't know. You guys are watching this from all around the world, so I have no idea about the availability of this stuff where you live. You could probably at least buy these online, and hopefully the shipping isn't too expensive. Okay, that about wraps it up. If you want to watch an example of how I use these supplies, check out my next video. Make sure to check out proko.com/store for all the online video courses I have available, like portrait drawing, figure drawing, and a lot more on the way. If you like this video, share the wealth. Tell your friends. Post it on your favorite social network. And click this button here to subscribe to the Proko newsletter if you want to be updated about new videos. Bye-bye! Spray fixative. So a lot of them